All right, guys. So we're back and at it. Part 2. We're jumping in. We're
kids.
learning numbers, and now we're touching on blueprint. And they have to go side by side. It's a tandem work right here. That's the right word, right? Tandem?
Tandem, yeah.
Yeah, working in tandem. And so I'm pumped and excited. Logan, first off, it's good to have you on the podcast again.
Back again,
What
man.
a joy.
I could be in here every day sharing best practices nationally.
That's good. We touched on it a little bit last week and in the last episode about how you were in Columbus, Ohio. You got to see the team, and certain sales reps were punching out tons of sales. Others were seeing tons of activity. We were really unpacking what numbers do.
Yeah.
How it's important to know your numbers, to have the competency to understand what those numbers mean, and then how to take them into the field. But you have to have the vehicle, the tools to take it to the field. So we're going to be talking about that today.
Yes.
Not just theoretical tools and ideas, but genuine, this tool, this practice, this mapping. That's what we're talking about.
Well, I'm
Blueprint.
excited, man. Numbers last week, I went and did more analytical research, and I'll tell you what we're talking about today is foundation. Blueprint for success is your foundation, and throughout the blueprint of 4 weeks, there's numbers all throughout it. So as we unload last week and all these numbers, and you can measure here, and a blueprint for success will help any advisor, sales rep, sales professional understand in the Trelevate way how we break down. Number one, get to know you. What do you want to make? Where do you want to grow? How much money do you really want to make? We talked about that.
Right.
Now in a blueprint process, if I want you to see this clearly, 1 week at a time, with numbers and things that move the needle in increments where you can raise your bar, that's what we're talking about today. And I'll tell you, that blueprint and foundation for success is clear with Trelevate. I'm seeing it in action, and we talked about those Ohio reps last week. We can talk more about that. What is the blueprint for success?
Yeah. How many tools go into that blueprint that are critical, and how many are like, those are extra? What would you say?
The tools that go into it are, I'd say 5 tools that go into it, because you got to break down and think about how much information we're giving someone in week 1, all the numbers, all the revenue, all the new client acquisition, all the stats, what you have to do, what you have to drive, how you're going to drive it. And they're like, a fire hose of information. And all I see is numbers. I hear 40s and 10s and 5s and 50s and fiber. And so how do we put that all together? How do you take a number of where you want to be in a financial income to provide for your family, buy the boat you want? I did that on my vision board. I put numbers down. I got it. That was 5 years ago, thanks to Trelevate. But blueprint.
Yeah. What's the first, number one, how would you describe blueprint in one sentence? Let's start with that. Blueprint in one sentence.
4-week outline, 1 week at a time with complete clarity and precise actions we're going to take to make your numbers grow and your confidence grow.
Okay. Love it. I would describe it as the 4-week game plan for your success in this sales role.
Go. See, you learned something.
I like mine better.
Okay.
Yeah, comment down below. Bo's was better. Or if you
Whoa,
thought
hold
Logan was
on.
better. No problem.
Okay,
No
yeah.
problem.
We'll have to rewind and watch that again.
Yeah,
We'll
yeah,
see
yeah.
what happens, but that's all right.
Okay, awesome. Blueprint. Now let's talk about those tools. You said there's 5. What is the first one to get someone started within that blueprint?
Funny thing is, it's their toolbox.
Yeah?
At Trelevate, we actually create a toolbox that has a certain number of tools in it that's not overwhelming, right? There are the key foundations to how you start a week with a weekly planner.
Tell me about that. What's that like?
Number 1.
Okay.
Number. How do you plan and start a week in sales? How do you plan and start a week in recruiting? I mean, there's so many things we do that is selling and people don't realize it, but like the plan for your week, right? That weekly planner. If you want to accomplish something in a Monday through Friday, a 40-hour work week, which I think people work too hard sometimes. You can get a lot done. Bo, you've accomplished that. Measurements of things you can get done in time frames, time management, all numbers.
There's an incredible stat, and then we'll jump back right into that, how you start your work week. Incredible stats about certain economies and cities and states in the world, not in the U.S., but also the U.S. kind of rubs from it. But the stat was that those that worked 7 days a week, 40 hours plus, right, more than 8 hours per day, their productivity shot to 60%, 60 to 70%, and they were unable with low fulfillment, low purpose, and low productivity. So then they flipped it and they said, okay, what industries put into practice 6 days a week of working, 80 plus hours in a work week, right? Still same thing. low productivity, less fulfillment, but it was better, improved. And then they brought it down to about 40 hours, 40 to 50 hours in a work week,
Right.
5 to 6 days a week, 5 to 6. And all of a sudden your productivity was all the way up. I think it was close to 90, 95%. Fulfillment and purpose was way up as well.
Right.
And it's the idea of like you have to have a balance between work and life, which another conversation for another day, but fascinating stuff. Very much how we start our week. You know, you only devote a certain amount of time to your work day, whether it's 8 or 12 or 4 hours in a day, but it gives you a focus. So continue.
Man, all those numbers, 60 hours, 80 hours. I mean, efficiency. Numbers is efficiency. Here at Trelevate, we've dialed in a rhythm that can give you hour by hour, can give you day by day, can give you week by week and month by month. So when you break down and look at the amount of numbered things that you need to get through to get to an accomplishment, prioritize. And less is more. When you get defined on time, right? I'm learning this. You're teaching this to me at times, right? As a VP, I get excited about so many things, and my G galvanizing just continues to come out. But the reality is, when you slow it down, you actually look at the analytics and you look at the things we're doing, how we've moved the needle. And let's use our department as an example, right? Sure. We staff for the entire nation. Multi-billion-dollar programs. We've got staffing in 8, 9, 10 different states. It's constant. It's not for everybody. We're unique and different. But those numbers and those laws of averages, we've got a science behind it now.
Yeah.
And so again, as I roll back into the blueprint, the science of figuring out who you are, how you operate, what numbers you have to drive towards, how many does it take you to visit to get to that, or have a phone call to get that person to say, yes, come join Trelevate, man. It's a great working place, right? There was a little drop hashtag. No. Anyways, numbers, right? But it goes back to the blueprint. And if you can adequately put together what a Monday is going to look like, how many hours you're going to put into it, and the defined number of things you're going to learn in this day, then you can go home and you can absorb that, you can channel it, and then put out maybe the next 3 steps you need to do to get better at that. And then you break down day 2 and day 3 and week 2 and week 3 and week 4. This is the blueprint, right? And every week and every day, there's something in a stat that you want to increase or feel better at. Sometimes it's not always a stat. Trelevate believes big in the art of conversation. Guess what? How many times do you have to do that to feel really good? How many times do you have to make those phone calls, Bo, to tell about this amazing company we're a part of nationally, why we provide hope to others, we're helping people every other day? How did you figure out your stats?
It took some time.
Right.
It took the first few months.
Did you believe there was an analytical structure to how you could look at your measurement and what equals this and how to get this and how to make it so precise and consistent?
I didn't at the start.
No,
I thought a lot. I didn't. I thought a lot of it was skill. I was like, you just have to have a really good fishing net and a great pole, and you gotta like, if you're extra good, you'll reel them in, you know. And then I just started realizing, like, no, that's not it. A lot of it comes down to numbers, and sometimes you're talking to a person and they're really excited. They're like, oh, this is a great spot. I also have 3 job offers on the table, though. So I'm going to see how that pans out. It's like, oh, just timing.
Numbers matter, right?
Right. So it just matters on a timely standpoint, numbers. But there's also that skill factor. And we talked about that in the last episode. And then I think, you know, bringing it back to the blueprint of there was a direction of how you're communicating, the training behind it, what type of, like, we started using a Calendly link. We started using some certain job ads. We started using some certain descriptions.
Yeah.
I learned to flow to the talk. And so there's a training that you learn within that. Logan, in your experience and seeing where Trelevate's at and seeing our blueprint, what is a tool and how do we make our blueprint so successful and that you wish other businesses or other sales reps knew? What's that one tool? What's that skill that someone could say, let me walk you from A to Z in this little snippet, you're going to excel a lot better?
I love the question. I'm going to start with a lot of sales companies say, oh, you can do all these big things and make all this money and we're going to do all these things. I beg to differ. Anyone listening or watching, call our recruitment department and ask them about the job, the role, what they can expect. They're going to be so clear on the numbers. And for somebody that doesn't have that type of blueprint, I have to believe in a 5-minute call, 10-minute, pre-screen call, and then a 30-minute call with numbers thrown all around with the manager. And then I have to put this together in my head. Is this comp plan? But when you realize if you start in orderly fashion of, we're going to give you a blueprint and we're going to show you what it takes to, one, be the right type of person, personality, communication, and all of that victory piece in the beginning. But then reality is it starts breaking down to numbers. What do you got to do to make the money you want? And if I can phase that into this one, we're going to check off the 3 things in week 1 that are most important. 1, you know us. You know your product. You know the company. You know the clientele you're going after. 2, I've got the mindset, the attitude in our victory pillar to go out and do this. Check, dude. That's number 1, right? I'm going to do so many pitches and role plays. I'm going to do 10, 20, 30. I'm going to go see 50 businesses in these first 2 days. Why? Just to get my feet wet. It doesn't matter what happens. And then over weeks 2 with 5 days in that week and 8 hours in that day, and we break these numbers down hour by hour with the science, you're either going to get it and it's going to go, whoa, I got so much I can do. So if I scale here, if I raise this number, if I tweak this, but slowing it back down, week 2, you're still understanding objections and like how to go just have 10 great conversations, right? So part of the Trelevate process and the blueprint for the foundation of your success is channel it, be clear with where you want to be, how you move the needle, how you move the number, how many of this does it take before you feel comfortable. And if you clearly walk through each week, by week 3, now it's like, I'm running my territory. Now I need to know, okay, this week I did an average of 27 business visits and I got 5 leads out of it and I got 3 bills. Stop there. That's success in numbers, because you can't get to a sale on that big number unless the numbers you're going after is, am I effective at my visits? Am I effective at my productivity? Saying they want yes, appointment, bill, number. It's phases. So we have a blueprint for success, and it goes into week 1, week 2, week 3, and week 4, and it's very clear. The bar is not set high. I'd rather see someone that's so committed, and if I have to adjust a little bit of those numbers because it makes a better onboarding process. We learned this in Ohio. I got people doing 12 visits and a close of a sale, but they're not doing 50, 60, 70 visits. Guys, an arbitrary number, 40, 50 a day, it doesn't matter. Sky's the limit. When you go out and you start realizing in the first 4 hours of my day, I got 5 appointments and 2 sales, man, I'm going to go double those numbers. I'm so motivated now to see my success. But then, and I'll leave this here as you break down your 4 weeks and then really methodically your next how long in sales. Are you dissecting your numbers week by week, month by month? No matter where you're at in a blueprint, which is foundational, then it's the next 30 and 69 days that matter, because they come out excited, extra bonus, lots of money, numbers. The reality sinks in. You got to do this every day. And doing this every day means you got to get the art of your numbers down to know, if I got this amount of appointments or this or that today, what do I need to do to make sure I keep filling more numbers to get to the bottom line?
Yeah.
Man, that's a lot of numbers, but man, numbers are everything.
So good.
And the blueprint, that's what we're talking about, right? See, I went from back to phase 1 last week. I was all excited. Now it's tying into the blueprint, and next we could talk more as we layer this out.
Well, and you really, in a wonderful description, kind of encapsulated in a verbal way what the difference is between other sales agencies versus ours. And the blueprint for ours is different because it's very much mapped. We have a clear plan. We even have a career development plan, a CDP. It's mapped out. It's clear.
Measured with numbers.
It's measurable.
Personality and people.
And so it's the same thing with a blueprint, that what makes ours different is like, oh, you want to make, like there's a minimum to what a sales rep is going to make here. Genuinely, because if you don't make that, something is significantly wrong on our part, unless you're just not showing up, which you're already let go at that point, right?
I'm glad you brought this up, because I want everyone to know too, as we talk about numbers, like, are you 1099? Do you have a small base salary? Do you have a big base salary? Do you have uncapped commissions? At our organization, we do not want to put people in the role that, one, don't understand their numbers and how to get there.
Yeah.
And if we don't show them how to get those numbers and get there, then that's gonna immediately stop them from performing. So our biggest mission here is show you the numbers that you can accomplish and put the phases together to get there. But if you don't show up committed to numbers, knowing this is going to be, I got to go out and do this and I got to do it real good, and then you'll figure it out. Most organizations don't lay that out for you. And it's so important, because we don't do this all for the sale. I'm doing it for 100 plus people in an organization to make sure they can take care of their family, and that number matters to them. And the number that people are worth, a lot of companies don't see the value in that. So maybe another episode is the value of, 1099 sales commissions, base salary. When you want to make money, know your numbers, put a target. You want to make $250,000. I know you're working on different numbers on the side on how you're going to scale what you're doing. If you know your people, if you put a plan in place and you give them a blueprint for success, the numbers will start to come.
Yep. Super good. Hey, last thing I wanted to talk about, and love to hear your thoughts on, because we're talking about blueprint and because we're talking about tools, I would say when it comes to tools in sales, CRM is very common, whether that's Salesforce, HubSpot, SalesRabbit. There could be quite a few different ones. Even got a shout out, RepCard. They've got to come on to our podcast as well. Phenomenal company. Shout out RepCard. They're awesome too. You use a lot of different basic tools when it comes to your sales. And my thought is, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it really handicaps a sales rep from succeeding if the tool that you're using is familiar but not effective.
100% agree.
If it's familiar and it's effective, you're dynamite. If you're unfamiliar and it's dynamite, you're still ineffective. Yep. But if it's effective and you're familiar, you're locking it in. But you got to know if it's effective.
Are you leading into phase 3 on tools maybe? But here's what I'm going to say to that. Number one, yes, RepCard, shout out. I actually played with it in a couple field places the other day.
It's a great program. Love it.
When you talk about numbers and how do you put together, look, every sales company is going to have a CRM, and some people do it a little bit better because they've been out there doing these numbers for a long time.
Totally.
You need to figure out what works for you. Right? A tool, a technology, it can definitely help. But I'll tell you, we started Trelevate 14 years ago. The partnerships, which some we still have today, started with paper. I was writing numbers on a piece of paper and I was submitting 17 fax pages. And now we've got technology that help us with the numbers. The tools that are built into the technology help track your numbers, whether it's email campaigns for marketing, whether it's the number of this, the number of that, it's all being tracked. Technology is key. And mastering how to use your technology makes your numbers so much easier and clearer to see that I highly encourage people to understand your technology. That piece of business is everything. Everything you need to make numbers happen is comprised in that CRM or that tool. Mm-hmm. And you want to make it fast and efficient. So there are some applications out there that are growing. There are ways that those things help the overall production of an entire company. And our tools, we have partners. We have our own internal tools. And you know what? We're constantly refining because refining those things change the numbers.
Yeah. And you talked about it too with ChatGPT a little bit ago. And you were saying how it takes 1.23 million megawatts? Million megawatts to put
kilowatts, in... Sorry, kilowatts. Numbers.
Kilowatts. To put in...
Gigawatts. Just kidding. 1.2 gigawatts. Sorry, I had to have some fun, guys.
I don't even know.
Numbers are fun.
Is a gigawatt bigger than a kilowatt?
Clue. Don't ask that question on camera.
All right.
I know kilowatts and megawatts.
Perfect.
And fiber speeds, right? 5 gig, 7 gig, 2. No, I'm just kidding.
Okay.
Numbers.
Maybe gigawatts is bigger.
It sounds bigger.
100%. It's like billion.
I don't want to date you with Back to the Future, but that was the old doc when it's 1.2 gigawatts. And what does that mean?
It's probably bigger. Yeah, I bet it is. That's epic.
For all you older people like us.
Love it. Back to the Future. Anyway.
I do it. Sorry. Go ahead.
The ChatGPT takes a lot of power to run one search, one ChatGPT. Tell me about Apple's search, in Oregon. And it takes a lot of energy. Mm-hmm. And I lost my train of thought.
I don't even know where we
realize.
Well, I'm going to pick up for you. Numbers.
I had a train of thought.
We had numbers. We had blueprints. We had all these things, right? Like what's mapping right now with AI and numbers and technology.
You beat me to it. That's exactly what I was going to say. I was going to say your tools and your effectiveness with AI developing, it could be just dated. There's a study actually I heard recently that every 10 years, a industry, and it's actually getting faster. So it's like now it was 20, now it's 10, now it's going to be 6, then it's going to be 2. Information's going so fast that people have to be retrained within their industry, whether that's medical, engineering, roofing, plumbing, electricity. Like those are just, blue collar, white collar works, but at the same time, your industry is moving so much in education that if you haven't been trained, like retrained on everything within the past 5 to 10 years, you're doing outdated work. So your sales ability may have been good, but we're in a whole new ballpark now.
Oh yeah, you're 100% right on that. And we can go into like numbers of industries that's being impacted right now and why the numbers are going to change. Mm-hmm. Whether it's real estate, whether it's food costs, I mean, you name it. It's
just even talk about transportation. It used to be Uber drivers or even like buggy, horse and buggy, right? Or a taxi was the game plan, right? Yeah. Taxis are
taxi.
Yeah, taxi. Whoop, whoop. Does it have the light on or not? Yeah. And didn't know what that means until later. I went to New York and figured that out. But now it's Uber. Uber's the big stop, right? Okay, well now it's Waymo. Waymo doesn't even have a driver in its seat. And long story short, big old story to simply say, you got to stay updated and educated, especially when it comes to your tools and your blueprint, your game plan, your education, your 4-week steps. Love it. Awesome. But then take the next step up. Do not settle for being average, right? Raise the level and go educate more. Find out what you're not good at and humbly be like, yeah, let's learn what's new.
Well said. I'm not even trying to close with that because it's an art. Yeah. It's an art to figure out what you want to be able to accomplish, and it all takes numbers, whether it's money or movement. This has been awesome.
Yeah, absolutely.
That and the blueprint.
100%. Hey, I cannot express this enough. What you're doing out in the field and what we talk about here every single episode is we want to equip you with skills to go and change your workplace and your ability to sell because we want to see people elevate in all areas of life. So go crush it. Keep up to date. Follow, like, and subscribe. Comment down below what your favorite lesson and little nugget of wisdom was. And then, of course, if you want to hear a topic that Logan wants to share on next, let us know. We'll see you on our Instagram, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. You're the best.
Drop a comment. Trailvate Nation. Thank you.